Well, the time is just gone 15 minutes to 5 p.m. As we continue with the iftar drive on this day, the 11th of Ramadan. And Alhamdulillah, uh, what a beautiful month. And as we enjoy the beauty, the blessings, and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month, there are many people that are suffering. There are people that are battling in more ways than one. And one of the countries is in India. And of late, we've seen these ultra right supremacists using any excuse and every excuse in the book to have a go at Muslims, and in the most brutal forms, to the extent that they are using their own festivals, like the festival which is called Ram Navami. And this festival has prompted these massive clashes right across many, many states in India. And we are going across now to be joined by the South African Kashmir Action Group's Salman Khan. Salman, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brother, Mujahid Islam, Mujahid Kashmir, Inayat Bhai, and Ramadan Mubarak to you and to all the beautiful listeners of your radio station.
Alhamdulillah, and Ramadan Mubarak to you and all your loved ones as well. And just wonderful that we are able to connect from time to time, Salman Bhai, and with all the wonderful work that you are doing as far as Kashmir is concerned, but also keeping an eye out on India, because India is directly responsible for what is taking place in Kashmir. But we are seeing now the own citizens, Muslims in India, suffering repression after repression, waves of repression taking place, and any excuse these hate mongers, this right-wing Hindu ultra supremacists, they will use to have a go at Muslims.
Yes. It is very sad to see in the month of Ramadan, but if you look at the genesis, there are many historians of the Indian rights and communal rights, they're saying one thing. The rights has always been there. Rights has been going on for the last almost 100 years. Since the Hindu and Muslims, get political, their own identities, and the beginning of the century from 1920 onward, when, the Indian National Congress was formed and Indian Muslim League was formed. And then, of course, it's become a more of a communal problem. But the rights now have a very ugly face. The rights used to be before the precision going and anti-Muslim slogan or whatever the case is, who blame who. But now what is being written in a newspaper by the Indian, their own, what do you call it, the analysts, the political analysts, they say now the mobs are highly weaponized. And they are being targeting the Muslim area on the days when there was on the 30th of March, there was a Friday prayer. And in the Bihar Sharif, the area, Jahangir Puri, where the big mosque, and there's like a Eidgah, is a big, the Jummah, has been tradition for many, many years. But now the people, which was never before, the route was given by the police. So the police is at their side, the state security is their side, the judiciary at their side, and those routes is being purposefully, or I would say, preemptively been given that they will create the problem. So now the Hindus want to get them in the same park where the Jummahs are supposed to happen. So there was already a commotion, the police come in and intervene that this place must not be used for the gathering of the March of the Ram Navim and the Hanuman Jayanti precision or the festival celebration. And that was already a start of the problem. But on the first place, the precision was allocated on the time and the route where the Muslim mosque and the Muslims prayed on the ground. It's been there for tradition for the almost 100 years. So it was overlooked. And now the amount of the violence incurred during all these marches and the procession, it has been characterized by heavily weaponized people and heavily organized. And then on the side of it, the agencies or the police is been doing a lip service, and they come and collect. They say the people, the tractor and the bulldozer was heading the march and removing the barricade, which the people and the local authorities, the local community leader, Muslim Hindu put together that to avoid any clashes going into the areas, where the Muslim pay areas are, and then is going to be the the Jumagah. There will be a problem, and the bulldozer was given by the city council to remove those barricades to make sure these 7,000 people go there, and when they arrive at this Juma pay station, they start putting the loudspeaker with a loud box and anti-Muslim slogan, and then they're blaming that there was stone throwers from the Muslims from the adjacent building or mosque, and that played into the violence, and the Muslims to be blamed.
Yes, Saman. But all of this at the end of the day could have been averted had the government not encouraged, because we know that the government, to a large extent, politicians in India, high-ranking politicians that have been making this call for a very, very long time, and this call of violence in the most horrific forms. Modi himself. And we've heard of Gujarat being one of the states that has been the scenes of some of these riots that have been taking place recently, and the violence that has been carried out. So in Modi's own state, because he himself was responsible in the past for what had happened in Gujarat. And so again, the blame goes right to the top. It rests with people like Modi and his BJP government.
Yes. Pinag bhai, actually you just with the nail on the coffin. I didn't want to get to that side. But if you look at, nothing happened in a state without the permission of the state. Nothing happened in the areas where that for the last, I'm talking about this, the Bhagwatpur and, the Jahangirpur and the Bihar Sharif, Vadapura, Aurangabad and Jalakon. These are the hotest spots, which has been known by the security that you do not allow the precision. But if you go back into the history, 1965 there was a riot, 1970 there was a riot in the same place, 1978, 1988, 1999. So these are the hottest spots. These are the intelligence has enough information that if you put up a right route or the precision route into this area, is going to be agitation, because people will go and do what they will be doing, and the Muslim will get irritated, and the Muslim will be marginal, and then somebody will say the Muslim throw the stone onto the precision, and that's their opinion. So the state has been accomplished. Now, you rightly say, when the Prime Minister Modi, the Narendra Modi, has rose from the ashes of the Gujarat massacre of 2002, nobody can deny that he was fully accomplished. He was labeled by the US and from Europe as a terrorist, and he was not allowed in the European Union, some of the countries, and also in the US until yesterday that he is removed from as a terrorist. So now, what do you expect from his government and his state intelligentsia to protect the Muslim or not to protect any minority? So it is definitely a part of a systematic genocidal or silent genocide has been committed against the Muslims. Now, just 2 days before, just the start of the Ramadan, this Ram Navib and also Hanuman Janyati celebration, they were going into the mosque and reading of the Maulana, the Hafiz, by just saying shout the Hari Ram and the Hindu, the Dynasty slogan, and they refused. Their beard was shaved off. I'm sure you see the videos, and there are plenty of the videos. They shave their beards and they beat them up by not, saying the slogans which is against the Islamic belief. So these things were happening already few days before, on the 30th, when the major thing happened, and then of course follow up for the whole week, and still seeing unfortunate situation. So that definitely the state is complicit. And what do you expect from the government of the Modi, which is totally fascist, right-wing RSS doing? So unfortunately, until unless the media, like your media house, always do a very good job, but we need more of the media houses from South Africa. We need mainstream media, which is controlled by very much like, the Hindu Datupa in South Africa. Those who went in 1970s to do the monthly graduations or monthly Gandhi scholarship on a journalism. They protect. They will not let these things come out of our main media. And then internationally, apart from the Al Jazeera and few other channels, you are not seeing these things coming out. I'm not talking about the Kashmir. We're talking about the Muslims. Those are being the part of their economy and the part of the society for the over 100 years.
Yes, and also Salman, we are in the month of Ramadan. This is a month of unity for the Muslim Ummah. This is a month for universal brotherhood. And when one sees our fellow Muslims in other parts around the world, like India, being brutally massacred, being killed, being humiliated, and what kind of Ramadan can we as an ummah have when we see all of this pain and all of the suffering that is taking place around us? And again, when we are talking about a Muslim ummah, we're talking about a Muslim ummah that is over 1.6 billion in numbers. And it appears as if there is a silence, a deafening silence, even from leadership across the entire Muslim world. Like, they've got a parda in front of their eyes and they are not seeing what is actually unfolding in India.
There has been some sort of no, I'm saying there is some of the vocal sounds are coming from the Middle East, which is after many years of a work that now you have pieces. I think he talk about the Muslim atrocities in India, and like Qatar has also raised the voice. But in general, as a Muslim ummah, we are quite. Let's drive this to the home. Have you seen any one of our religious? I'm not going to give you a name because I know that you don't like to give a name. Which any one of our Muslim religious body has issued a statement? They issued about anything happening in Myanmar. Forget about Kashmir. Have you ever seen anybody making any statement about what's happening? Have they issued a stern warning to the Indian embassy by writing a letter to Dirko and say this is what happened to the Muslims? We're taking a stern action. They are quiet. Why are they quiet? I was in the mosque 2 years ago, and one of the Maulana inside, I'm not going to mention, it comes from one of the Darul Uloom, a head of Darul Uloom, and he was preaching the Pakistan creation was not accepted, and Pakistan creation was supposed not to happen. Can you believe it? In the full mosque, you're talking about the Pakistan creation in 2020, and it's still opposing. As a Maulana, as a Khatib, as a leader of a Muslim community in South Africa from a Darul Uloom, standing in front of the people, and when I went to confront, he said, no, he was just no context to the speech. There was no need of it. So if you have your people, our leaders, those who do not want to, who shy away because of umbilical cord is too cozy to the Indian, let's see in the next week, let's see in a few days, how many of our ulmas and how many of our religious leaders, how many of the Indian National Congress, our leaders, those who are South African now incorporated into the ANC, will make any noise to the Dilko. They make it for the Palestine, they make it for the Myanmar, they make it for something happening in Sri Lanka, they make it the noise for everything else. But when it's come to the India, why they are quiet? Because it is the blood of the, it is a connection between us and India is so strong that we keep it away, that the people of India's blood is fed into the street of Bihar Sharif and other parts, and none of our religious can stand up and say. I always remember, we were in a conference, our Sheikh Ihsan Henrik. He was a leader who would stand up, fearless, completely fearless, and he will call the spade a spade. We need leaders like that. We miss him.
Well, certainly, and as you mentioned, injustice is injustice, oppression is oppression. One cannot be selective when we speak out against oppression and injustices. But Brother Salman, as always, an absolute pleasure having you with us here on Salam Media. Jazakallah so much for your time, and continue enjoying the mercy and the blessings of this beautiful month of Ramadan and all the wonderful work that you do. Allah accept, Allah reward your efforts, and please take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salman Khan from the South African Kashmir Action Group with us this afternoon, which brings us straight on to 5 p.m. And what does this mean? We've got a brand new segment coming through at 5 p.m. on a daily basis from Monday to Friday. And this is the theme, Ramadan, a clean slate with Fatima Asmal. So immediately after the break, we will link up with Fatima Asmal and begin our brand new series that will take place daily at 5 p.m. during the month of Ramadan on the Iftar Drive.